Like every Italian, I love pizza. When I had to cut gluten from my diet, it was a tragedy. So I looked for any kind of gluten-free pizza, and I have to be honest, they all
How rude.
whatever. So like always, I didn't want to give up, and I wanted to have my pizza. So I explored a lot of different solutions, and I finally found the perfect recipe for my pizza.
That looks good.
And my wife now loves this pizza even more than the one with gluten. For the pizza dough, I use 70% of amaranth, 20% of brown rice flour, and 10% of psyllium husk powder. 1.5 gram of yeast for 300 grams of flour. I actually use brewer's yeast, how you call it, lievito di birra in Italian. Okay, all those things in a bowl and I mix it. If I have 300 grams of flour, I use 7 grams of salt, olive oil, 30-40 grams, and then warm water between 400-500 millimeter. And the warm water, I just do it bit by bit. But keep in mind that I'm not locked into these ratios. You know, I might change the ratios depending how I feel the dough. If you want more oil, more salt, less, it's really up to you. You gotta try and find your own way. I like to get to a point where the dough is very wet, sticky, and then I keep adding more flour. It is very important that psyllium husk, because I'm working with flours without gluten. If I don't use the psyllium husk, it's gonna break. I work the dough until it's ready. I make my bowl and I put it on a plate with some flour, and then with a knife I cut it so it's gonna help to rise. Then I cover it with a couple of cloths and I put it in the oven with the light on. 2 hours is enough, but since I use very little yeast, I'm gonna leave it 3-4 hours. Flashback. I'm warming up the tomato sauce that I did before, and then I froze it. You can check the full video about it. Now let's go back to the dough. It's time to roll it. And it's very nice and easy. It really feels good. So I start with some more flour on the table and then I press it down each side. Press it down and then I put some more flour and I start rolling it. It's very easy to work on it. It's very tender, and I roll it, and then I don't have any tray, I don't have any tools here, so I'm just gonna have to improvise something. So once I'm ready, I'm gonna look for something in the kitchen to create the shape of a pizza. I found this thing, so it's perfect. I create the shape, and then with a knife I cut it. And then on a parchment paper I put some oil and I put my dough on it. I don't have a tray, so I just have to use the parchment paper, but it's better to put it on a tray. Today I just have to work with what I have here. Okay, I create the shape that I want, and then I get the tomato sauce. It's nice. I put some oil in it and then I spread it on my pizza. It's so good to have the total control of what's in your food. I know exactly what's in this tomato sauce and I love it. When I'm ready, I have to find a way to stick it in the oven, and I bake it for 10 minutes at 480 Fahrenheit. Meanwhile, I cut some fresh mozzarella in cubes. Here we go, the pizza. I put the mozzarella on top and then I sprinkle some grated mozzarella cheese too. Oregano. I put it back in the oven for either 5 minutes, 7 minutes, depend how thick it is, and then it's ready. And it's so good.
Bon appetito!
Yeah, that was my wife.